Welcome to Beyond Beats episode 11. I am DYVN. I've got Metic here, and we have a guest, and that is Kristoffer Eikrem, all the way from Norway. Welcome.
Thank you.
Man, I'm so excited for this week. Kristoffer, I've learned a lot about you through actually DYVN, because I think you guys have been collaborating for much longer, like for a while, like at least a couple years. I think
pretty much the same time, amount of time as we have, but we've known each other for a little bit longer. It just took us quite a while to actually get started with the collabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to see. I mean, there's so many things to talk about with you. I feel like before the show, we were just talking about trying to like narrow down some of these things, and I feel like there's so many interesting things about your journey, Kristoffer. Starting from, I guess you're first off, you're a proper jazz musician to begin with, which is it's not the norm within this beat community that we see. A lot of us just learn and use the DAW day in, day out, but like you started out as a live musician. You went to school for it. I don't know. Yeah, do you want to just start off with a quick musical background of yourself?
Give us your resume.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my name is Kristoffer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from a small town in Norway, but I moved to Oslo in 2008 to study jazz at the Music Academy in Oslo. I took a bachelor's degree in jazz trumpet performance, and I worked as a freelance musician for several years. And I did a lot of freelancing, touring with the different projects, and I was introduced to kind of lo-fi or like instrumental hip-hop through a project I was involved in together with Fred Fades and the rapper Ivan Av. And I started taking interest in making beats myself after a while, and since 2018 maybe I've been producing a lot of stuff on my own and really enjoying that process.
Even your resume, like the way you tell it, sounds so professional, like way more than anything we've ever done at this podcast.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I just want to
YouTube University.
I just want to jump in there really quick because you mentioned Fred Fades and Ivan Av, and it's really funny because a friend of mine who, by the way, we were talking before we started the podcast. Oh, this is such a full circle moment. Okay, check this out. A friend of mine who used to work in Stockholm for teenage engineering, now lives in my old apartment that I've been living in Berlin for 8 years for. He actually showed me in this very apartment your album that you made with Fred Fades. And he was like, you got to check out those two guys. They're amazing. Is
that the Jazz Cats?
Yeah, I think the Jazz Cats, yeah. I found their music when I was in Stockholm, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's amazing!" And then, like 2 months later or something, I kid you not, you texted me on or you followed me on Instagram, and I was freaking out. I was like, "I've been bumping this guy's album for so long, and he just like followed me. What's up there?" And you were probably like just getting to the lo-fi scene or something, and just like discovered me or something, and. It was just very many like coincidences. So, yeah, that's just a fun story.
Cool to hear. Small world.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like, I guess how did you? I guess before we unpack like your musical past and everything, like how did you find DYVN actually?
I think it was through Instagram. Yeah.
I
saw his name popping up on all the playlists and took a liking in his music, and I saw him on Instagram. He had cool videos. Seems like a really laid back, cool guy. So yeah, gave him a follow,
And you were so far from wrong. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, that kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, I think for us all, like Instagram is such a great place to discover and get to know people. And I guess that transitions into like, you know, one of the things that we could talk about is how did that transition work for you when it came to, you know, when it comes to jazz and live music, performing live with other jazz musicians. A lot of that interaction, you know, it happens in real life, and playing with other people, matching their energy and all that. How did you transition from that? Like, how was the transition from that into like a more digital world where, you know, you're tapping into the online beat making community, you know, just like, you know, me and DYVN had, and you know, doing a lot of that relationship building online. Like,
do you mean like more of the business side of it, or you mean like musical?
As in, just like, was it a weird, like, because, you know, you've gone to school, jazz school and all that stuff. Yeah. Like you're just so used to jamming with other people, and then like all of a sudden, like you find yourself, you know, wanting to do beats more, and then you find yourself on Instagram more and more, and you're texting people more and more, you know.
So I think you mean both from that like sort of networking aspect, but also from the playing live with other people in a room versus making music, sending stems, doing digital, which I think we're all kind of familiar. Like we've seen both sides of the. But yeah, how was it for you, Kristoffer?
It felt like a natural development for me, at least. I did a lot of different kind of jobs when I was freelancing, playing with DJs and also doing studio jobs, so studio gigs, I mean. And so it didn't feel like a big transition in that way. And I've been developing or evolving musically slowly, so it's like a gradual, natural curve to me, I guess.
Cool.
So I did a lot of studio sessions before I started making my own beats too. So being in a studio environment isn't really like, it's not strange to me at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
and I started making beat videos a few years back, and I noticed that people enjoyed it, and I had fun making them, and so it just became like a part of my process as a musician and documenting my stuff. Basically. So
is that
magical revelations? But you know.
No,
sorry.
I think you covered it really well. I mean, what I gather from, you know, just your background and what you just said is just you do so much. Like I didn't, you know, I didn't know you had you did all these you had all this experience in professional studios and all that stuff, and that stuff that is really invaluable, I feel like. And yeah, I think, you know, coming from a bedroom beat maker perspective, like that's that's the stuff that we all want to like try our hands with, and you've been there, so that's really cool.
Yeah, and on the other side, for me, this was one of the things that I got curious about with the lo-fi community, because there's so many talented musicians and producers who haven't gone to school and just make super cool music at home, and that was like, whoa, this is interesting.
There's a whole different world out there.
On the other side of the spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it's just such a I don't know. I always feel get some sort of like imposter syndrome, you know, like there's people who's like dedicated like so much of their lives to this, and then like here we are just like trying to just trying to Google like, oh, how to mix the kick and the bass, and like that's how we learn stuff.
I've never looked that up actually. It's one of those things where
Oh my
like,
God.
there's a right way to do that. Oh, I'm just doing, you know, by ear. So, but I had a question
always
because
sound on point.
oh, thank you. I am a bass player, so I guess the low end spectrum is sort of what my ears are very comfortable at. So
It just came naturally.
it's just
for DYVN.
You mentioned that your like Instagram reels and everything is something that you are doing to sort of like document your journey. Is that what like because you're killing it at the reels, and you're like consistent, you're like your reels are always somewhere between like inspiring, fun, and like so I feel like you're also like covering the whole spectrum of what reels can be, and you know it just first of all, do you like talk more about that? And I have one question that you might want to answer kind of on along the way, and that is that what motivates you, like to get up and do that every day? Because I recently found motivation again in actually doing reels again. I don't know what exactly it is, but I actually just really enjoy it again, which is really cool. But yeah, I just want to hear what is it for you that kind of motivates you to like do that day and day again?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy my stuff. No, I just treat it as like a documentation process, and I used to have a day job working with real estate photography, and I also did a lot of photography as a hobby a few years back.
Wow.
So like the photography side is something I bring with me into making videos, and yeah, I like to make, as you said, like short videos and try to make them aesthetically pleasing whenever I can, or sometimes just oh, this is a nice beat, I want to show it to the world. But yeah, I feel like all the algorithms and all this crazy stuff there it's a struggle, as many people might agree with, and I haven't gone viral or anything like that, but yeah, I just enjoy as you dive in. I enjoy making videos, and I get very glad when I see all the kind comments, yeah, etc.
So it's kind of like a way to tap into another creative outlet, and since you already do music, it's kind of like, let's just do that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's
also
what
I
it is for me
treat
too.
so yeah, and I also treat Instagram and social media as a tool for making or creating community around my music, and discovering people for inspiration, and also for networking. Yeah, I mean we all know each other from Instagram, basically.
Right.
So
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it works.
and it's awesome. Just I echo what DYVN was saying earlier. Just to see you try different things and do it in a way that's still like, you know, true and authentic to yourself. You know, you're not jumping on any crazy trends that might not be, you know, that might not reflect who you are, you know, but you are still trying different things. Like, you know, I see you trying different camera angles with the trumpet, and different editing techniques. And yeah, I feel like whenever I see your stuff, I'm just like, okay, yeah, time to try something new again. I get, you know, sometimes I find something that works, and then I like just keep doing it, and then like, so, you know, it's seeing you pop up with your posts it's a good motivation for me too, just to like
Yep, same here. Also like to keep up the daily stuff, like And it's so simple, actually. Like today, I was just in a session, and I was actually recording something because I'm also kind of rebooting my YouTube channel, which has also been a little bit dead recently. So I was filming a little bit along the way, and I was like, you know what? I can just, while I'm recording the guitar part, I can just film that, you know, and have a reel for the day, and just think of something that went through my mind while doing. It's so simple, actually, but it's. And I think the more you get into that rhythm of doing it every day, the easier it actually gets, because you don't overthink and you don't want to display your entire brand and your entire being into this 1 5-second video.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I can share a secret there. I record like maybe once or maybe twice a week, and then I batch create. I record like 10 videos in one session. So then I don't have to like record every day, because I find it sometimes exhausting, you know, setting up the camera stand.
I know.
Coming up with ideas, and yeah, sometimes I'm just tired or I have stuff to do. So I try to plan out, or sometimes I just improvise in front of the camera, or go through older beats and like, oh, this could be nice for Instagram.
Right.
Because you're not the first one that I've noticed another creator that I'm a very big fan of as well. I can just share Jake Fine. He's a guitarist, and he does these like just guitar riff ideas, and he invites other people to like remix his reels and TikToks and all that stuff. And then, oops, my mic
drop.
Sorry, mic drop. Sorry. But yeah,
I'm just holding my mic here.
But yeah, he's like his social media is like super consistent. You know, one a day. And then, you know, I asked him what his secret was, what his routine was, and he said, yeah, I just spend my weekends just making these and in batch, and then he posts them throughout the week. And but what I feel like what you do in addition to that is you're trying different things as well, you know, like, so it's very easy to, well, I'm not going to say it's very easy to like batch record stuff and be creative in batch terms, right? But you're also not just you're not doing the same thing in batch. You're like trying different like video techniques and editing techniques. So it's like an added level of challenge that I don't know, like, because last week DYVN and I were talking about or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about like how do you structure your day. So say, Kristoffer, like you're in your weekend and you're trying to create, and you know you have this block of like say 2-3 hours to create. Like, do you feel the pressure of creating, or like do you not stick to the 2-3 hours too much? Do you allow yourself some room for spontaneity as well? Just a tangent, but I really wanted to see how your process was.
Yeah, I just have to check if the camera's still recording 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. I'm on the edge of my seat here. That's such a good question. I'm really like, give me the answer. And he's like, yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah. No, it seems fine. Yeah. So like a typical day for me is I work on 8 to 4 job. I have a day job working with neighboring rights, which is like we pay musicians and record labels for being played on radio. Yeah. So when I get home, I'm mostly very tired, so I have to like cook and watch a TV show together with my girlfriend, and I just relax for 2-3 hours before I can start creating stuff. So I normally have like from 7 to 10 maybe where I can do stuff. And if I have time off on weekends, then I'll try to get as much out of the hours as I can. I don't have like a fixed schedule,
right? Okay.
But I'm also a father, so like you guys, so I don't know, main dive in. I'm sorry, you've been talking about fatherhood so much here, so I got mixed up.
Oh, I didn't know you were a daddy too. I didn't know you were a dad as well. That's that makes it so much more impressive.
I became a father at a very young age, at age 20. So and he lives in a different city in Molde. The city is called Molde. So I travel there every second weekend. So when I'm there, I'm just chilling and hanging out. But when I'm in Oslo, where I live, I try to be as efficient as I can.
And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, and I might cut it out if I'm not, but your son also started making beats, right?
Yeah, it just started. I found out that he can use my Ableton Live license, so...
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very talented.
The dream.
The dream for any beatmaker father. Man. Yeah, I feel like, it's really cool to hear the structure that you've set for yourself to create this level of output with your social media. And I feel like that's, the fact that it's not my first time hearing it, and the fact that I see that it works really well. It's that's something I'm gonna strive to do as well. Like trying to like batch create and then post throughout the week.
How about you guys? How do you structure your days?
Like not much, to be honest. Like I guess I get into grooves, right? So like sometimes I'll create a reel. I'll have like a week where I'm banging out like guitar ideas, and then I'll have a week where I'm just mixing like one song and trying to finish that song, and then I'll have it's very what do you call it, like
coming in waves.
Trend. Yeah, okay. Waves, exactly. Sorry, thank you. But at the same time, I feel like if I have this block of time on a weekend where I can just record guitar riffs in batches, and then it opens up my week, my time during the week to just mix one song. So I feel like it's kind of a cheat code that, like you mentioned, that I should look into as well.
I did like a similar thing the other day, since like I finally found a routine that really works really, really well for me. For like the last 2-3 weeks I've been like strictly following that without having to be strict about it, because it was very like it's just very natural. Like I wake up, I read a little bit, then I play a little bit of piano for like 5-10 minutes, and then I meditate for 5 minutes, do 10 minutes of workout, and then shower, breakfast, and then whatever's up on that day. So creatively I'm sort of going with the flow, but I really have this like kind of strict morning routine, which is super nice. Feels super well, especially like doing this full time now, where you're not forced to have some kind of routine, but now I get up at 7-ish every morning and then do that, right. And then I'm ready for the day latest by 10. So, because there's also my daughter, which sometimes needs a little bit of attention in between. So, where was I going with that?
Well,
I did this thing the other day where usually I'm like, I talked about that a little bit on last week's episode. I'm like strictly non-recording in the morning. Like when I do my piano doodling, I'm like, recording is the one thing that's off limits, because I really want to do this just for me. But I had like 2 or 3 really, really good ideas, and I was like, I was getting so in the zone, like where I played for 20 minutes and just something really well came up. So I just like did 3 recordings the other day. So I already know right now, kind of like creating in batch again, right? I have 3 ideas, 3 loops waiting for me. So I can just focus on finishing up one track at a time now, which is kind of like what you said, Metic, about like getting deep in the zone with mixing. For me right now, it's getting deep in the zone with arranging and just, I'm 30 years old now, and I still can't remember horizontally or vertically. This is horizontal. Vertically building
I think you just did the opposite thing.
Right. Vertically building the track. So basically meaning like stacking instruments and stuff, right? Which is something I'm focusing on right now with those loops. So yeah, creating in batch works kind of in all kinds of directions, I think.
Yeah.
Horizontal and vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
difficult.
I noticed with DYVN before jumping onto this call is, Kristoffer, you kind of have like an atypical arc in terms compared to other kind of beat makers in the genre, because usually in this community people start out doing stuff in their bedrooms and then they start doing more live shows, and then you kind of started out with the live performance and all that, and then became more of a studio person. I guess is there anything you missed
and took on a day job, right? So you're like completely anticlimactic, sort of in that sense.
No, I started on the stage and then I withdrew more and more into the bedroom. So sorry, what was the question again?
So yeah, I guess there's two things I wanted to ask. Was first off, is there anything you miss about your past life, so to speak, or the second part is, would you get back into doing live shows and I guess like doing mini tours here and there?
Actually, over the years, as I started producing more and more myself, I become more and more fond of producing. So actually, I enjoy producing at home more than I do playing live, at least for now. But I do still do some live gigs here and there, but I'm not on tour or anything like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And being a freelance musician has its ups and downs, as maybe DYVN knows right now. You have a lot of time and energy, but less money, and it's the opposite when you have a day job. You have little energy and time, but lots of money. So it's like a dilemma there.
Yeah,
it's a trade.
But, it's a trade. And but I still do live gigs here and there, and I've performed my own beats live, doing like a live beat set where I play the Eevee together with my SP404. And I was lucky to be chosen to be a support act for this local band here in Oslo, where there were like 1,500 people listening, where I played lo-fi beats. And it was so loud that
I remember
fans,
that was insane. That was a big, it was crazy in a big venue.
And there was this these fans at the stage to keep people off.
Yeah.
The one track, the bass was so heavy, it started like trembling like really hard, and like young girls were like, check out my beats.
Here you are, just on the stage with the SP404. I feel like
the SP really cool. Yeah.
I feel like the SP, it's about time the SP made its way to the main stage at festivals.
Yeah.
I do want people to know that you also DJ, which is awesome.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to get into it.
Really into disco and boogie and funk, like in 2012, and started collecting vinyl, and did some. I did a lot of DJ gigs, and I still do some from time to time here in Oslo, and I enjoy it when I don't do it too often. Then it's a cool thing, but I could never do it like full time. It's really hard work.
Yeah, but hey, it's just a testament to your work ethic. In terms of like just you doing so many things within music, and I guess this is a good place to kind of wrap things up. But I think before we end it, DYVN, you were showing us before we got on camera.
One more thing. Check this out for video listeners, for the video audience. Have a look. Audio listeners, I'm showing Kristoffer's latest release at times as a cassette tape which just got to me, I think, yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And yeah, super cool. I haven't opened it actually, so it's still sealed. Maybe I'll keep it sealed so that it's getting
it's going to
more
be worth a lot of money
over time. Actually, fun story. Yes. I had to pay a lot of shipments, and that was shipping from the US. Like from the original Crates campaign, you did that on Crates, right? And then I also had to like pay an import tax. So this better be something or something.
I heard a lot about that.
Really?
Yeah. It's
like
really
the
annoying.
most expensive cassette tape I've ever bought. But I'm sure it's going to be worth it. And everyone check this out. You've got it on your web store now, I guess.
Yeah, a link in bio.
Yes.
I was just listening to it, like, and it's got your signature trumpet lines and like just really scrunchy, beautiful drum loops and synths. You do it, man. I don't even, like, I'm ashamed listening to that album. I'm like, I only play the guitar.
But thank you so much. Really appreciate
I'm playing the
It's
bass,
amazing.
but I
It's
never used the electric bass on my recording, so like I don't use my instruments.
But yeah, it's a great piece of work, and everybody should go check it out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks for
two of my favorite people to work with right here in the podcast.
Hard.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at Beyond Beats.